mind.
All right, now, if I know my cousin for something.
Dagger baseball.
You were the first. Yeah, that too. And the love of the Who and the Stones and everybody.
4 times I went and saw the Stones this year on tour. That's a whole nother story.
My very first full-time job was with Lou at night on his show. You knew the betting game better than – did you ever think we'd get to apps and I can bet wherever I want to right here now? Did you ever think we'd get here?
No.
And what would be your advice about this opening weekend? Would you touch this CU game? Because all the money's on the Buffs right now.
Yeah, if I had to bet it and I did not lay a wager, I would
got a couple hours till kickoff, cuz.
I would take the 10 points. But let me tell you, you ask me about what I think about this. Here's what I tell my kids. I got 2 boys, okay, 123 and 119. Guys, here's what you're up against when you're gambling. They never run out of money. They never have to make a decision, and they never close. Take away those 3 factors, and maybe you got a shot. But think about this. DraftKings, FanDuel, you name it, who do you guys points bet? Yeah,
Sport Circa last week.
Yeah,
Circa last week. Yep.
Oh, Circa was here?
No, we went to Circa.
You're kidding! I missed it.
Yeah.
How about that place?
Oh,
yeah.
How
about
Circa? I'm ever running out of money.
Yeah.
It was like 130. It was the hot as the surface of the sun. And I asked Nate at one point, I go, how much do you think it takes just to cool and light this place? They ain't worried about it.
Yeah. No, you know what? I'm a little worried with this sports gambling because there's so many different ways. Back in the day, you bet the game, you bet the total, but now you can bet, is it going to be a pass? Is it going to be a run? And I just think there's way too many things you can bet on. And guess what? The more volume is what they want, and you can't win. You're not going to beat them. You may beat them once, you may beat them twice, but in the long run, you're standing on the corner. You know, when I see these people standing on the corner, you know what I tell the kids? That guy used to bet at DraftKings.
All right, cuz.
You know who's got him a couple times, though?
Yeah. I got a couple of dubs.
He's pretty good at picking MVPs.
Don't worry, but I don't talk the L's.
All right, can I talk
the
greatest gambling story ever?
Let's have it.
Let's go.
Real quick, 2020. Now, it's one of the greatest plays ever. All right. 2020, Teddy Bridgewater's playing for the Carolina Panthers. Mm-hmm. Sam Darnold gets traded from the Jets to the Panthers. Supergate, Jay Cornegay,
that's right,
has a prop up there. Who's going to be the next quarterback of the Denver Broncos? This is when Teddy Bridgewater was with the Carolina Panthers. All right?
What was the number?
20-1. Should have been 200-1,
kidding.
but it was 20-1. All right? So your cuz says, well, wait a second. George Payton with the Vikings drafted Bridgewater. He's coming to Denver. Teddy Bridgewater's going to be a Bronco. Now, the bet was he's got to take the first snap. All right? Fast forward, I bet some serious money for me on Teddy Bridgewater.
20-1.
All right? 20-1.
Good number.
That weekend is the 20th anniversary of 9/11. My friend and I, we go out to New York, Friday, U.S. Open, Saturday, 20th anniversary of 9/11, Mets, Yankees, and then Sunday, Broncos, Giants. Now, he has no idea I got this bet that pays in the thousands, okay, on Teddy Bridgewater taking the first snap.
So you're sweating the snap.
I'm sweating the snap.
What if they go Wildcat?
Okay, I'm sweating it. There's Matt Fleming. Who's tougher than Matt Fleming? So anyway, I'm sitting there, and Teddy Bridgewater takes the first snap. All right?
Yeah.
Boom. I win my money.
Yeah.
All right?
You bought your section drinks,
I bought my section drinks, and I told my friend, let's go. He goes, what are you talking about? I go, the freaking game's over. And I showed him the ticket. Now, a true story. Jay Cornegay calls me and says, cuz, I want you to know you're the only person in Colorado that bet that.
Did he fly out?
Look at you.
No. I cashed it online.
Come on, Jay.
But how about that?
Speaking of
so
gambling
anyway,
stories,
there's my story. And I haven't bet since.
Yeah, right.
You and Pete Rose.
Today. Lou from Littleton, your cuz, is with us right now. So we were talking about this yesterday. 5.5's the total on your Broncos. All right, cuz? 5.5.
Mortgage alert.
93% of the public is on the over.
Guys, let me tell you.
Yeah?
You got a mortgage?
You better believe
You
it.
want to be mortgage free by January 1st? Over.
Over?
Yeah. Here's why.
You're
Look
hanging
at-
with the public.
Now let me
What's
tell
that?
you, and I hear that the one and only Adam Schefter
Yeah, oh, your guy.
is
Brad,
on
your
Mondays
guy.
and Thursdays. How about that? He said, I don't need that other station. I want to go with Crickman and Lindahl and Lombardi and Mosier and Hastings and DMAC. But listen to this.
Cuz shows up and starts pumping things.
Yeah,
That's all this guy knows how to do.
Well,
He's a
cuz,
marketing-
what did I
marketing
remember when we had to
master.
do?
the man
people-
knows how to sell.
when we had the other stations,
Sure.
okay?
We call it
People would
across the
say,
street.
why is Lou from Littleton on every recorded
Yeah,
commercial?
yeah.
Because I didn't want to pay anybody else, and I did it for free. They go, dude, you can't have back-to-back. Well, anyway, here's the story. The longest droughts in playoffs, current droughts, the Jets haven't
Jets,
been to the playoffs.
2011.
10.
Yep.
Okay, was the last
10?
time they made it.
My God.
No, 2010 was the last time they made it.
Okay.
So you're right. 2011 was the first year.
That was generous,
Is
but
this
okay.
a camera?
No, that's how we're on the air.
Yeah, don't kick us off the air, cuz.
And that happened a few times at the other station.
I don't
Poor
remember.
Nate Kreckman.
Not at all.
All right, and the Broncos 2015. Guys, I'm just telling you.
Yeah.
They may just make the playoffs.
He's that all in, folks.
No, I'm not drinking the
Mortgage
it's just
alert.
Mortgage alert. Okay. Now you had always used to say you wanted a second home in Vail.
Yeah, that'd be
Here's
nice.
your
That's
opportunity.
my second home. On the
All right?
over? On the over?
On the over.
And playoffs?
I would take a little taste on the playoffs.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
But I'm all in on over 5. Let me tell you something. Sean Payton is not going to win. Is not going to go 6-11. Come on, dude. Come on. You got Kansas City, who's going to play on every single night of the year.
Mm-hmm.
You got Kelsey, who just scored a big podcast deal. Okay.
Oh, and his
Fat
soon-to-be
and
wife
happy.
is doing all right,
Yeah,
too.
yeah. And so I don't see the Chiefs. I mean, I think the Chiefs are going to have some challenges. And I think the Chargers are a year away. And the Raiders, they're the Raiders. I think Denver has an opportunity.
Win the AFC West?
To win the AFC West.
Look at this guy.
All right?
Look at this
and
guy.
listen, and you guys know me. I'm not Joe Homer. Am I wearing, what's your first name again? Colt. Am I wearing orange? All right, because I'm not wearing
No,
orange.
he's wearing a buff shirt.
I'm not calling you a homer, but I am saying this feels like the Gridiron Grill all over.
Oh, no. No, but I got to tell you, I
Yeah.
love, and I know the night. Listen, the last thing you want to do is go with the public.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Because Vegas, you
What were you
want.
just saying about Vegas?
Well, they never run out of
Yeah.
money.
Uh-huh.
They never have to make a decision,
Uh-huh.
and they never close.
Uh-huh.
Other than that, you got a shot. Okay, so all you people out there with your 10-team parlays and your 15-team round robins, you got no shot. Just bring the money
You hear
down
that,
to-
Calvin Ridley? Wasn't worth it. Wasn't worth it, all right?
I love it. No, but I do like Denver over 5.5. In fact, plus money over 6.5. A week ago was plus $1.98 at FanDuel. Denver over 6.5 plus $1.98. It's now over 6.5 plus $1.40.
My dude's taking alternative lines right now. Lou from Littleton, everybody. Cuz,
And you know what?
you know what? You didn't disappoint. You showed up. You gave us a mortgage alert. It was everything we needed.
All right,
That's how it's
ready?
done.
Are we getting ready to go to break?
The clock
we
is.
got one of those formats.
All right,
yeah.
no, I got to tell you this.
Uh-huh.
I couldn't be more prouder of you, Andy Lindahl, and you, Nate Kreckman, for where you are right now with an incredible, great afternoon show. I mean it, man. I am so proud to know both of you and what you did to get to where you are and what you did to get where you are. Colt, you have no idea the background of these two. But there's nobody tougher than you, Nate, and you, Andy.
We got the tougher, too.
And
That's
listen,
right.
my gift to you, mortgage alert,
Yeah,
Broncos
yeah.
over 5.5.
Over 5.5.
And I will come here to Joe Willie's like everybody else should, and I will buy you whatever you want after we win that
On the day we
5.5.
cash the ticket.
I love you guys.
Lou, I couldn't have done it without you,
I love
buddy.
you guys.
Thank
Our
you so
guy, Lou
much.
from
And you know
Littleton.
what's good about you, Nate? You did it in spite of me. All
Real
right.
quick, does Nix have a little taste of Greasy? When we started, Greasy was the quarterback.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a little similarities in the game. Is there
Oh,
not?
hey, listen. Let me tell you something. I think Bo Nix is perfect. You know what I looked up? The
Nate's mad at
years
me, by
that
the way.
Drew Brees was the quarterback of the Saints,
Yeah.
7 times he led the league in passing. Okay? Well, Peyton's going to let Nix throw the ball. I think Nix is exactly a Brian Greasy. That is a great scenario, or what do you call it, comparison.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah. Hey, but listen.
Bo Nix is Brian Greasy.
I'm going to be a Joe Willis. Come on over
Hey,
here, Matt Fleming.
give me a live read for Joe Willis one more time
Hey,
before you're
let me
done.
just tell you.
Lou
Let me
from
tell you
Littleton.
about Joe Willis.
Yeah?
Okay? It's right on the corner of Broadway in Louisiana. If you want the ultimate sports bar, soccer, football, college football, pro football, Matt Fleming, this ain't his first rodeo. Reavers, Wazoos, Giggling Grizzly, you name it, Matt Fleming's done it, and he's outdid it all at Joe Willie's, right here on the corner
Damn
of Broadway
right.
in Louisiana.
That's how a live read is done from the best salesman in the city of Denver, Colorado, everybody. Lou from Littleton. It's the Kreckman and Lindahl Show. Very cool of Lou from Littleton to stop by and see us today. What'd he drop?
Oh, my gosh, man.
What'd he drop, 11 names and 6 live reads while he was on?
I'm telling you.
Nothing's changed.
He's got a little Dick Vitale where
Living legend.
He's a little more subdued off air, and then you put the headset on and pow, there's Lou
There
from
it is.
Littleton right there.
There
all
it
over
is.
Again. Like he never left. We got a Who's Tougher. You got a Mortgage Alert.
We got the mortgage alert. I'm most happy that we got. He's on the open.
You're not betting it. It doesn't.
I'm not.
Like, but you got
No.
a Mortgage Alert.
I'm not going anywhere near that over right now. No. And it changes nothing about the way that I feel about this team.
No.
I love what they are right now, Andy. I'm ecstatic. Russell Wilson broke something inside of me.
Okay.
He did.
You're not the only one.
He truly did. And the opportunity that this team has right now, I heard a comp earlier today. And while harsh, I don't think it's that far off. Speaking of Russ, okay? And it was this, all right? People talk about the Steelers like they're a team that can still make the playoffs because of Tomlin, right?
Yes.
And there is an excitement because you're talking about Russell Wilson, Super Bowl winning, 9-time Pro Bowl quarterback, and Justin Fields, top 10 pick, freakish athlete, Ohio State. And you say those two names right there, and there's an excitement that goes with it, okay? Would people be saying the same thing about basically the same quarterback situation in a different city? If Gardner Minshew and Aiden O'Connell were the Steelers quarterback, would anybody be arguing the Steelers can make the playoffs? Would Tomlin have that big an effect? Because I'm telling you, that Steelers quarterback room is no better than the Raiders quarterback room.
Wow.
It's no better. Russ is cooked, and Fields is so far, and he's so far away, and he needs an organization that's just there's got to be a full investment in a player like that. Guys like Justin Fields can turn into good NFL quarterbacks, but there has to be a full investment into that player, right? Right now he's the backup quarterback. I mean, Pittsburgh basically looked at it and said, this is a no-lose situation. We'll trade a couple of late-round picks. We'll bring in this freakish athlete, and maybe he can win some games for us.
How about
I'll
go dancing with you here. I'm not ready to go all the way to say they're as even as the Raiders, but I don't like Justin Fields as much as other people do. But I'll give you this. I will say this because, my morning talk show circuit is full of they won't shut up about this. The Steeler thing has been as bad as the Cowboy thing, and it's because they're two blue blood brands in the NFL.
Sure.
Right? I agree with you on this point. Nobody else should be hyping the Fields. And what's been funny to me, though, is that even those that have hyped it, the ESPN hype train mainly, with a lot of their former players, even they have turned around and go, wow, there's a reason why both these guys were available, wasn't there? But I'm with you. And I don't know if it's the Tomlin effect. I do think that's fair. I just think there's something about the brand that's the Steelers, right? People want the Steelers to be good. They want the Cowboys to be good. The Steelers, for the most part, have been at least playoff good. They're always a tough out. You never want to deal with them.
Tomlin's never had a losing season. Now, they haven't won a playoff game since 2017. I think they're 0-6 in their last 6 trips to the postseason. But still, there is something to be said for Mike Tomlin.
Sure.
Without a doubt. Quite frankly, I think there's a greater reason to believe in what Pittsburgh could be under Tomlin than there is the benefit of the doubt simply given to Sean Payton.
Right.
I mean, we had Lou from Littleton telling us, well, never won fewer than 7 games. We know that statistic about the Broncos and Sean Payton. Andy, we're talking about a team that's got $76 million in dead cap money and an organization that right now, I don't know how far the top 100 list would have to go before you ranked another Bronco that isn't Patrick Surtain on one of those top 100 lists right now. Like, Sean Payton is I do think, a very good football coach. And I even think he did a good job with his team last year. But this challenge that is in front of him right now is unlike, I think, anything he's dealt with in his career.
I agree.
You talk about bottomed out, and rebuild, that's exactly what this team is. Now I'm ecstatic that they're there, but I do think it means that this team is really going to have to do a lot of growing this season.
Yeah, it is going to have to. It just is amazing to me because I didn't think the Broncos, and again, I've got friends in TV where I'm bringing this from. This isn't hometown Andy saying this to you. The Broncos were an absolute juggernaut afternoon draw forever. And a lot of that to do, you had Elway, you had Manning, you had good quarterback play. Elway, Manning, Tebow all brought a national fan presence to this team. I'm shocked that the Broncos have and I don't know, maybe allowed is the key word, but that they have fallen to a place where they're not the Steelers anymore. Because let's be honest about it.
They were.
Frankly, the Broncos have had a few quarterback situations probably hyped up the way the Steeler one is that wasn't necessarily deserved, but because they're a brand and they would get eyeballs on, articles, television, whatever, they would get talked about. Sean Payton, as far as what he's got to deal with this year, I'm still curious to see if he's got the stomach for it. He says he does, and maybe ultimately $18 million is the best Pepto-Bismol out there.
Yeah.
But you and I both know most of the problem goes away next year, but not all of the problem. You're going to have some cap room, but you still got to keep drafting. You still got to be patient with this thing. And no matter how much you get right and no matter how much good drafting you do, you still have the dude in the division with you.
One thing that I wonder about with Peyton, and you bring up an interesting point right there. You talk about the stomach for it. I'll approach it from the other side on this. Sean Payton has no pressure on him this year.
Not at all.
None. He's Bud Black right now coaching the Broncos. There's no expectation on this thing at all. They had to get rid of Russ's contract, which hamstrings you massively in terms of roster building. You haven't had first-round picks because you traded for Russ and because you traded for Sean Payton. So you've essentially just kneecapped him in terms of roster construction. All those years in New Orleans with Drew Brees, when you have an all-pro quarterback, your expectation is go to the playoffs, go to the NFC Championship. You got to be able to win Super Bowls. Now, he hadn't done that since 2009. I think he gets to Denver. I think there was considerable pressure on him last year to fix Russ. And when he determined that it was a job that he wasn't capable of.
And maybe didn't want to do, let's be honest.
Yeah. When he realized that he wasn't up to the task of repairing Russell Wilson and was able to axe him and get him out the door, I don't think Greg Penner needed a lot of convincing. He watched those games last year. They didn't look like they were having a good time anytime they went to the owner's box. So for that group, I think they looked at it and just say, okay, well, let's get much, much younger. They drank the Kool-Aid on Sean's love of Bo Nix. Cool. All right, organization's all in. I think that's, again, a good place to be. But also, could this be a little bit better for Sean that he doesn't have any expectation on him to win this year?
Yes, in theory, you're right. It should be better for him. It's the first pressure-free probably season he's had in a while because having Drew Brees comes with a lot of good things, but it also comes with high expectations.
He's never had 5.5 as his win total before.
But look, we miss in Denver those expectations. Here's the thing, though.
We'll get there.
Sean is a grinder, though. Sean, I admire guys that want to compete, and I'll say this. Sean wants to compete. Sean wants to win. Sean doesn't care whose feelings he hurts on the way.
Right.
He's got a little Nikola Jokic in him that way, I would say. Nikola just has kind of a friendlier outside wrapping to the same candy bar. I admire that. That's the thing that I wonder. Nate, I don't think I'm telling any tale. I'm not revealing anything earth-shattering to say Sean Payton has a massive ego, right?
Him?
We're kind of finding that out.
That
right?
guy?
Right. So
Sean Payton?
Even if his offense runs pretty, but you're still losing to the Chiefs as they hoist another trophy or whatever, that continues for a couple more years. That's why I say, does he really want to? I mean, Andy Reid is just adding rooms to the house. You know what I mean? I keep saying it's like more frosting on the cake for them.
Yeah.
You've got so much catching
Andy
up
Reid
to
can
do.
down some frosting, let me tell you.
Well, he would know. That's when he just gets another layer out after he's eaten it. No, but seriously, this is going to take a minute. This really is.
Yeah.
Even if Bo Nix is all that, he is still going to need a team to help him get past what the Chiefs are.
There was a great quote, and Parker Gabriel had this in the Post today. This is George Paton. We're going to be flush with cap room 25 and 26. So hopefully this team is rising, and then we're ready to take off. But that's why we took the hit this year. We knew based on free agency and the strength of free agency and the draft that we felt like we could still help this football team. Felt like we were able to do that. Time will tell, obviously.
They will be flushed with cap room. But
yeah.
again,
I mean, $32 million on the number on Russ next year, but that's not – it was smart to take the 53 hit this year.
No, it is. But, Nate, even flush with cap room or not, that's great.
Yeah.
But we've seen it.
Draft.
Yeah, Jeff talks about it. We're the show that has Jeff Legwand on more than anybody. You draft your way to dynasties. You don't free agent your way to dynasties.
Right.
The Broncos did sign a lot of free agents to get their last Super Bowl. But what did that lead to? One Super Bowl. You need good young players. And, again, if Nix is the guy, if that gets proven, it's all the more reason to get a young core around him. Now, maybe you pick, maybe Jamar Chase, who's continuing to have a stare down and bad feelings with the Bengals, is all of a sudden the top free agent out there next year. Okay, you go get a Jamar Chase, that's fine. But you got to keep drafting well. You got to keep the identity. You got to keep the ship going the way that it is. And the only thing that I think derails that, we may need to play some interesting audio from Jamie Erdahl. She had some different thoughts about this. But for my money, the only thing that derails the Sean Payton thing is Sean Payton deciding he doesn't want to do it, right? He's not getting fired unless something unforeseen and out of, like, has never happened in his career happens, right?
He'll keep this job till they fire him. $18 million a year, man.
Yeah, I'm with you. That's a nice paycheck.
That's not bad. On the dead cap thing, and there were some numbers in the Post that I thought were pretty interesting today. So we've talked about last year, Green Bay, Tampa, the Rams, Philly, all of them had massive dead cap charges last year, and that was 4 playoff teams. Now they had quarterbacks, right? So it is different than Denver's situation. But last year, Tampa Bay led the NFL in dead money. Here's a good stat. Before the Bucs made the playoffs a year ago, and this was in the Post today, only 2 of the previous 7 league leaders managed even 7 wins, and teams that had the most dead cap space averaged 4.1 wins in an NFL season before last year. So while we can point to last year and say, hey, most recent history, there maybe was a little bit of an outlier that was going on last year. Now what's funny is you look at the dead money charges this year. Denver's number 1 on the list. After that is Buffalo. I mean, Buffalo is, right up there with the Jets' favorite to win their division. The Stephon Diggs hit is kind of what they're looking at right now. Minnesota, after that, I don't know if I view Minnesota as a playoff team this year. The Eagles in 4th. I think that's the best team in that division. They could very well be a playoff team. And Tampa Bay, I mean, we've talked about the NFC South before. I know Atlanta is favored, but it's not going to stun me if the Bucs win that division this season. So it doesn't automatically prohibit you, but again, you look at last year's 4 teams that made the playoffs with the biggest cap charge or the biggest dead cap charges. They all had quarterbacks. Bo Nix is going to be a rookie.
Yeah, and he's gonna have to learn under fire.
Got a lot going on.
There is a lot going on.
I'm excited to watch him, Andy. I'm telling you, like this, my lack of optimism in terms of the win total for this very season. It's funny because I say all that and people are like, you're a hater. No. I love what the Broncos are doing right now. I can't get past the lack of talent on the roster. This is a year for guys to emerge and guys to cement themselves as future pieces. I just think it's tough this year.
We talked about the fact that you need to build through the draft. I really don't care if they have a winning season or not.
Yeah.
Bo Nix, some of the
well,
other
in that way,
players,
it's
Jonah
better
Ellis,
off if they don't. Yeah.
They can show you that they're guys without it having to be People ask how. I had someone push back on that before. How could Bo Nix show you he could be the guy without them winning some games? They could be in a tight one. Josh Reynolds, Marvin Mims, pick your receiver, could drop a perfectly thrown pass. It would have been again, go back to Trevor Siemian in 2016.
Yep.
People forget all the time. I hate picking on the guy because I know he lives here. Benny Fowler dropped what would have been the game-winning touchdown.
Yep.
Trevor threw him a great pass. He dropped it. You get a little bit like that. That's how you could know Bo Nix is the dude. Now we got to put some better stuff around him.
That's Andy, everybody. I'm Nate. This is the Kreckman and Lindahl Show. We're with you until 6. Buffs in North Dakota State coming up here tonight. Cannot wait to get into this matchup coming up in this game. In fact, coming up on the other side of the break, Gary Barnett was with us yesterday on the show. He said something where both of us, our eyebrows raised in talking about CU's offense and what it could look like both tonight against North Dakota State and throughout this season. Could there already be tension between Pat Shurmur and Deion Sanders? We'll play that audio next. Hey, it's Nate Kreckman for my friends at Sport Trade. Sport Trade is Colorado's newest sports betting experience. Download the app today. Go to getsporttrade.com. Download Sport Trade on your iPhone. Use code Nate. Earn 10% cash back on every bet you place in your first week. Terms, of course, do apply. Why do you need a new betting app on your phone? Because Sport Trade does things differently. This is Colorado's premium sports betting experience. We're talking about stellar prices. Not getting minus 110. We're talking minus $1.04. You're talking very high limits. This is where the big bettors play at Sport Trade, and they feature the best in-play pricing in the market and the best in-play wagering experience in the market. We know how it goes. You put on a live bet, wheel spins, you get annoyed. Doesn't happen with Sport Trade, okay? If you're stuck in a rut on your app, they are going to give you instant in-play wagering, no delays, none of that. Go to getsporttrade.com. Again, getsporttrade.com. Sport Trade is regulated by the Colorado Division of Gaming. Gambling problem? Call or text 1-800-GAMBLER. Sport Trade wants you to know the best bettors are responsible bettors. Yeah, we are running them jewels. We are Nate Kreckman and Andy Lindell out here at Joe Willie's on Broadway and Louisiana.
Am I on? I cannot hear myself.
You are on.
Okay. I'm loud to you?
I hear you.
I don't hear anything.
Cole, fix Sandy's headset.
I don't know that he can.
Something with
Here's the problem.
No, there's a lot of things with you that cannot be fixed.
No, you're right. But
I believe that this issue can be remedied.
No, here's the issue. I am so loud he can't turn the mic up that I can actually hear it in here.
Ah. Wait, the machine's
they've
not
got the
capable
mic setting so low.
of
That's
that?
a little better. There we go. A little better.
Here.
There we go.
All right, crank.
No. See, now he's
there
killing
he is. Let me.
No, you're killing
Let me touch buttons.
See,
Did I just violate
you're
a union
too
rule?
loud. You're too. You might be. We're not in Chicago though. Even though Joe Willie's is kind of themed off that. Yeah, I'm so loud. He just barely. He just. You know how the amp goes to 11. My mic only needs to be at 2. You and I technically, what I've learned in our time together, especially, luckily we're at Joe Willie's on Broadway. Get down here, watch the Buff game. The food here is outside. I think we've had everything on the menu. We've yet to have anything bad.
The
and you and I are not
Stromboli.
lying. The Stromboli is legendary.
All right, I appreciate everybody that wants to come and say hi to us during the breaks. I haven't had time to finish my Stromboli.
Oh, I just hammered it.
Yeah.
I'm giving everybody fist bumps because my hands are being used for other things. So come get the food. Great draft beer selection. They've got special drinks. There's a drink menu here, Nate.
And there's a gentleman in a Penny Hardaway jersey.
That is old school.
And
a Florida Marlins cap. Like, that's the first issue. We are retro here.
Dan Lebitard's here, everybody.
Dan Lebitard has showed up. How about a summer sour or a senior spritz or a Valencia old fashioned? Huh?
White wine spritzer.
The gin joint drop. These are all some of the drinks that they have. They've got wine, beer, the whole deal. All right. But what I've learned in a place that's not loud like Joe Willie's, like we went to Safeway. Remember that?
I do.
The whole store could hear you and I, and we didn't even need microphones for them to hear it. We were just loud people. I do think we might have been the loudest at the Circa Radio Row last week.
Oh, without a doubt.
The guy next to you, here's what I'll high-five us for. We've never high-fived. We're going to do that right now. The guy with the ticket was listening to us instead of the show he was doing.
Yeah, I noticed that. Mm-hmm. It was weird. Bunch of sports radio blowhards. Why were we the loudest ones?
Because they were all, it was like NPR, and they're like, well, we're going to get back here and we're going to break down these futures here. Hey, dude, what are you doing? You going to tell me about the what was it, the sweaty balls that you were supposed to eat at the Christmas delicious dish or whatever they were doing?
Yeah, sports talk should not be NPR, folks. Jimmy Horn Jr.
You just heard Cousin Lou. If you want to know where we got it from, just listen
to that guy.
I mean, Lou, you know what I loved? When he dug in and he leaned for it, he goes, listen, cuz.
Listen, cuz.
And then you knew it was about to happen.
Damaging
Go ahead.
our equipment.
By the way, Brandon Ayuk is going to stay a 49er. That's over.
Travis Hunter.
Yes.
Jimmy Horn Jr.
Okay.
Will Shepard from Vanderbilt. LaJohntay Wester from FAU. I think we're looking at the top 4 wideouts on the Buffs right now. I think that's who you're talking about. There's other dudes. That position group is obscenely deep right now. The skill position and speed right now at CU. However, we had a great conversation with Gary Barnett on the show yesterday. And, we were talking about, are you going to use a tight end this year at CU? Mark Johnson told us last segment or last hour on the show, they want to go 4 wide. They want to spread it out. They want to chuck it around the lot. And Pat Shurmur wants to lean into Shedeur Sanders. It's not a bad strategy per se, but last year he had a hell of a time keeping Shedeur Sanders on his feet in playing that way. Gary Barnett gave us an interesting nugget in this conversation talking about whether or not we should expect the Buffs to use much of a tight end. Don't forget, they're going up against a real tough front 7 tonight in North Dakota State. Here was Gary Barnett yesterday.
I think the only area, and I'm very interested to watch this, is Pat wants to play with a tight end. I don't think Coach Sanders necessarily wants to play with a tight end, but to run the football, sometimes you really need a tight end. So they're going to line up with tight ends occasionally. With a certain, 25 to 30% of the time. So it's going to be interesting to see whether the tight ends that are in the program can hold up and provide them with the run assistance that's needed at this point in time.
Translation, can the tight ends block as well as catch? Because last year one of the problems, if you will, that the Buffs ran into when it came time to use extra blockers is they figured out, the old line's not holding up for Shedeur at times. They didn't really have the body types to do it. Was it Michael Harrison? He was kind of like a tight end, but really he was a big receiver.
More of a wideout.
He was basically Nate Jackson,
at the
who
college
was
level.
the closest thing they had to be able to put there and have him play tight end. I'm not sure from the folks that I've talked to, I don't know that there's – I think they're going to have to go extra linemen out there. I still don't know if they have that bigger tight end blocking type.
And they might need it. You might need that, and I understand why Shermer, coming from an NFL background, wants to lean into that, and I also understand the tension there of Deion looking at it and saying, we're faster than these dudes.
Yeah, I got a lot of good wideouts. Get them on the field.
I mean, we talked a lot about North Dakota State and what they are in the trenches. They're deep on the defensive line. Their front seven is really good. It's a damn high school 4-3 is what they run, but they know exactly what the hell they're doing out there. But can their secondary cover the kind of speed that CU has? That is the part of it where it's like, okay, tonight, if Shedeur has time, and he isn't going backwards like he was far too often last year, can North Dakota State hang with them? That's where this game could turn into I don't want to call it a rout because I don't think they can blow out North Dakota State, but at least a sort of comfortable home win for the Buffs.
Yeah, it's real quick, your point about the route. North Dakota State is going to try to suck the clock out so that it is – I thought was, it blew my mind how efficient they were at picking up first downs and keeping the ball and keeping the drive going and kind of finding their rhythm and their lather early on in the game. If North Dakota State takes the ball and sucks the air out of this thing early, does that frustrate Colorado? Do they stay patient with what they want to do? Now, to your point, they've got plenty of guys that can go make the big play if that's what they choose to do. I think the altitude plays a factor in this one. I think CU does get the win. But, Nate, I could see this being an uncomfortable game for a lot of CU fans until maybe the fourth quarter.
All right. Let's get back to the note that you dropped in before. According to our NFL insider, Adam Schefter, who you will hear on Monday morning with Marshall
he was
Lombardi
on today with PhD.
Updating this 4 minutes ago, 49ers and wide receiver Brandon Ayuk have reached agreement on a 4-year, $120 million extension that will contractually tie him to San Francisco for the next 5 seasons. So he hits the magic $30 million number, Andy. He gets security. He will continue to play with Brock Purdy. Kyle Shanahan's going to be happy. Trent Williams is still...
He's gone, but now that you know what it's going to cost you...
Yeah.
For Ayuk, now you can worry about Trent Williams, right?
It's and a lot of the conversation was, look, they weren't happy with the way that the feeling was Nick Bosa won in that last negotiation. So the Niners didn't want to take an L. Hey, they keep Brandon Ayuk in the fold. I think they like him more than they like Deebo Samuel. I think they view it as Deebo's a weapon, but Brandon Ayuk is the dude on third down, and you need somebody to get open. That's what Brandon Ayuk does.
I'm telling you, every off-season report, whether it was ESPN, NFL Network, some kind of Fox deal, they all said the same thing. They just want Deebo Samuel this year. They want this core together for this run. This 49er group is going to be together for this year, and then they got to start making some decisions, and a lot of people think Deebo Samuel's the guy. Basically, in their perfect world, what they wanted was Ayuk to wait till next year to get paid, and Ayuk just made it clear he wasn't doing that. And so Deebo will be the odd man out, I think, next year. But right now, the Niners know they're in that window, so they very much want to give it one more run at the Super Bowl.
A little bit of cap gymnastics they're going to have to pull right now. Yeah, you can always do it in the NFL if you need to. Browns were moving Deshaun Watson's money around today.
What are they doing, but why? They pointed out on ESPN, I think it was Greeny was saying, you're making it. He's already the most untradeable player in the NFL. Yeah. Now you just dug in even more.
Yeah.
I don't get what they're doing. And what do they need the cap space for? Who do you think you're clearing cap room for? Did they think they were going to get Ayuk? They must have thought maybe they were going to. But Ayuk kept saying, I don't want to go there.
Right.
So what? Do they think they're going to go get Jamar Chase? The Bengals aren't trading the Jamar Chase in division. The Bengals aren't trading Jamar Chase anyway. Who are you going to go get?
I know the Browns' defense is good. I think that team's going to stink, though.
I agree, because you got the
He's
weirdness
terrible.
that is Deshaun Watson. He's not a good quarterback, and it's making
You're making decisions like paying Jerry Judy. What are they doing right
Although,
now?
you know what,
Nick
I will-
Chubb's banged
hey.
up going into the year.
I'm not saying that you should have, but I got to tell you, the Jerry Judy $50 million seems like peanuts to all these contracts that the other guys got, right? I'm like, oh, man, it's such a bad deal.
I would say he is paid properly
overpaid.
production
No, you're
relative to what these other dudes get. That's Andy. I'm Nate. We'll take a break. We'll come back. 5 biggest stories of the day from around the NFL. We're live at Joe Willie's on Broadway. That's Broadway and Louisiana. Place is packing up with Buffs fans right now. Good to see. Altitude Sports Radio. Live from Joe Willie's on Broadway and Louisiana. New sports bar, beautiful sports bar.
It is really cool in here.
Still a few seats available, although they are open upstairs for the Buffs game tonight. See you in North Dakota State. Perfect place to get out and watch the game this evening. Watch it here with a lot of fellow Buffs fans out here at Joe Willie's on Broadway. Plus, the food is absolutely phenomenal. Andy, I transitioned from the Stromboli to the Italian beef, Italian sausage combo there in the last commercial break. I skipped lunch today planning for this, and yet I should have skipped breakfast as well. The food is incredible here. I have to eat all of it. We have an entire club sandwich even over there still waiting for us.
Yeah, man, we've had the pizza.
Yeah.
Just so people know.
Yeah.
Because, look.
We're filling the third leg today.
We will admit that it goes with the territory that
Hollow
you talk
leg?
about how good
Is that the
certain
expression?
things.
Yeah.
Yeah, you better.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look, tripod, calm down.
Third leg, something else. That's Nick Foles.
I'm just saying, we literally have tried all the food on the menu now. I believe we've had the wings last time. We had a different kind of pizza last time. We had that Italian beef that's so good. The crust, the pizza crust, their thinner pizza crust.
Tavern style.
We were talking to the cook who apparently, I didn't know this. He goes by Crazy Bob, was an old tight end at CU, played under Barnett.
Awesome.
Back in the early 90s. But whatever, I was like, what is in the pizza crust? And he goes, I don't know, a little garlic, a little this, a little that. It's like, yeah, you're acting like it's no big deal. I normally throw my crust away. I did not throw the crust away. Get down here. You can't miss, again, there's no problem seeing a TV.
Nope.
Nobody likes going to a sports bar where you can't see a TV. That's not an issue here. It's the old Pasquini's, if that helps too.
And it should, because Pasquini's was an institution. Joe Willie's hopefully can even surpass that. Let's do football
They
news.
will.
It's time for the five biggest stories of the day from around the NFL. Best 5 o'clock hour in the biz. Let's go, Spring.
All right, let's start with some Broncos news. First, today they broke ground on their new training facility that they're going to build out where the old training facility is. It is a $175 million project, and it will be ready by the 2026 season. Today, Greg Penner, talked to the media, and he was asked why. Why do you need this new training facility? The old one seemed perfectly fine. Here's Greg.
It came up when Chip Conway, our VP of Operations, came to me and he was talking about some upgrades we were going to need to make to keep this facility up to par, and I was looking at it. It was a few $1 million, but it was each season it was going up. And at the same time, we had a player survey come out that talked about the size of our locker room, and so then we started saying, well, instead of just upgrading that, could we modify it, make it a little bigger? That was going to be challenging. Finally, that turned into maybe we put it over here, and then the big vision was let's just combine the whole thing and do this at once and make it right.
Real quick. He just mentions a few million, like you and I are thinking, it's going to cost a couple $100.
A few million. A few million. We're up to $175 million. Andy, they specifically wanted to address the player path of travel.
Yes.
Get rid of the 3 separate buildings, players having to go weight room, practice facility, etc. An opportunity to bring everything together for the players, upgrade the spaces, all the sports performance areas. Here's my biggest takeaway out of all of this, okay? And I don't need to – I've seen some of the renderings. We don't need to get into those details because, quite frankly, none of us are allowed, okay? But here's what I take out of this. It's good to have the richest owners in sports.
Yeah.
This is the kind of thing where this is now the advantage that you get. You don't get more salary cap space because Rob Walton is worth $65 billion or whatever it is. No, what you get is the opportunity to simply rubber stamp any project that you want to that will then give the Broncos hopefully some kind of advantage in being able to build a winner. Whether it is simply replacing field turf for the last couple of games of a season or dropping $175 million so that the walk isn't inconvenient between the practice facility and the weight room, well, believe it or not, these little kinds of things do make big-time differences, and that's where it helps to have the rich guys.
Yeah, to add to that, I mean, you looked at the old weight room facility, and look, they went out of their way. Pat Bowlen kept putting money back into the team. It's what you wanted an owner to do. But now you've got this kind of money where you can have something that, and I'm not being facetious when I say this, their facilities did not look like, say, Alabama's or the University of Texas. Now I'm sure they will. Now it will all be state-of-the-art.
Honestly, most college football facilities are better than NFL facilities.
Right.
Isn't that wild?
It is crazy. But that will not be the case anymore. And, hey, you're going to be getting these NIL guys. You're going to have free agents coming in that are used to this kind of thing. You got to have the facilities that wow them.
Right.
Because to your point, really, all these NFL owners, and especially some of the older ones, sell out. They're all rich. They can all give you the money. You don't have to worry about whether you're going to get the check or not. You know, it's about your cap room and all this. So now do you have the nicer facility to make this the workplace you want to be in? It'll ultimately pay off for the Broncos.
Spring.
High five.
All right, let's hear more from Broncos owner Greg Penner, who spoke today, and he talked about the actual team itself, and he was asked about Bo Nix. What are Greg's early impressions of Bo Nix?
I've been really impressed with his poise and maturity. There's something about starting that many games in college that obviously develops that, and I think he's got some incredible traits. It was great to see how he played in the first 2 preseason games. I had a chance to call him after Sean announced that he'd be the starting quarterback. Had a great conversation with him then. You know, all rookies are going to go through some ups and downs in their first season, and I told him we're going to support you. I'm excited to see what he can do on the field and the rest of this roster.
Sure does sound like Greg's been tuned into the Kreckman and Lindahl show. He may have heard Bo Nix, 61 games in college.
Yeah.
I know nobody is talking about that. That's a Kreckman and Lindahl exclusive, but indeed he's played 61 games in college.
Yeah, I've heard that a couple of times.
Yeah.
I will say this, though. I don't think there is a maturity to Bo Nix that we've seen, right? I mean, look, listen to him at the podium along with Zach Wilson and Jarrett Stidham. You wouldn't know who was the rookie if you just hit everybody, you know, and just maybe if you covered their voices or whatever. So there's something to that, but you know what? Now we get to play games. I am so excited to play games, Nate. I'm so tired. Oh, I wish the games were starting this weekend. I'd take an NFL Sunday this weekend.
It's good to have the owner's support. Spring.
Well,
High five.
real quick, you kind of needed that before you agreed to put that card in, right?
Yeah.
For the draft.
Yeah. You need that go
You
ahead.
need to make sure he's cool.
Yeah.
You don't want the Arthur Blank scenario where all of a sudden you're in your draft room and Arthur Blank's like, "What do we do again?" Didn't I just pay a guy?
I'm sorry, what now?
You did who?
Go ahead, Spring.
The Cleveland Browns have restructured quarterback Deshaun Watson's contract. It now creates $35.8 million in cap space. The Browns converted $44.8 million of Deshaun's $46 million base salary this year into a signing bonus. The move gives the Browns more than $62 million in cap space, but it will move more money to Deshaun's cap hit for the next 2 seasons. He'll have a $72.9 million cap hit in each of the next 2 seasons with extremely high dead cap hits, and I believe a $30+ million dead cap hit the season that his contract expires, that he's off the books.
Yeah, so the thought here is they're going to roll over most of this year's cap space to next year where they're already $44 million over the cap. Is what the Browns are going to be doing right there. So, they're going to have Amari Cooper, Elijah Moore, Nick Chubb, Jedrick Wills are among Cleveland's free agents next offseason. So those are guys that they're going to have to pay right there. Back to the football team that is the Cleveland Browns, okay? $230 million in guaranteed money, okay? It's the only fully guaranteed contract in the NFL. We, at the time, were like, this is precedent setting. Okay, look at what the Haslams are doing right now. They are changing the way that quarterbacks are considered, the way that quarterbacks are paid and structured in the NFL. And what has happened since all of this? Deshaun Watson has been god-awful and not healthy. And it looks like one of the worst decisions you will ever see. If you are an NFL quarterback or if you're a young quarterback coming into the league, you should just give Deshaun Watson the middle finger every single time that you see him, because there was a chance that things could have altered, and Deshaun Watson made sure, no, that's not the case. this will be a one-off and this will never be done again.
Yeah, if I were the PA, I wouldn't be real happy because, again, if you'd have given that contract to the right guy, which is what a lot of the owners had a problem with. They were like, "Look, we knew we'd have to do this sooner or later. A, don't speed up the timeline.
Yeah.
B, why for him?
Yeah,
He's already been a PR nightmare.
Right.
And now you're going to go fully guarantee everything? Are you kidding us right now?
And he's been awful.
Yeah,
since
which
it happened.
sets it back. This is the owners, like you said, they're just going and saying this is why guys get hurt. Now he wasn't even hurt; he was out. He was out of the game.
And there's all reports out of Cleveland are
He's not looking any better.
He is at a shaky camp at best right now with the Cleveland Browns. I'm telling you, Andy, I don't think that team's very good. I really like Baltimore and Cincinnati in that division. I don't think Pittsburgh or Cleveland are legit at all. I'm not even considering either of those teams for wild cards this year.
I think Pittsburgh could surprise if the run game is good, because that defense is still good, is it not?
Is TJ Watt going to stay healthy?
That's a great
If
question.
he does, yes, they absolutely could be
Who's
legit.
their Alabama running back?
Najee Harris?
Harris.
Yeah.
That's been an interesting career, right? He came out, he was kind of that tough running back you wanted, and now it just feels like he's just kind of he's good. He's not great. He's good.
Spring.
High five.
So Tom Brady will make his debut in a Fox booth a week from Sunday for the Browns, the aforementioned Browns and the Cowboys. Tom Brady is also awaiting final approval as becoming a partial owner of the Raiders, and he's going to face restrictions for becoming a partial owner of the Raiders with his broadcasting duties. The Associated Press reporting the following. The NFL says restrictions on Tom Brady start immediately because his potential transaction to purchase part of the Raiders is pending. He's not permitted to attend broadcast production meetings in person or virtually and may not have access to team facilities or players and coaching personnel. Fox staff is not subject to these limitations. Tom Brady may broadcast Raiders games. He also has to abide by the league constitution and bylaws that prohibit public criticism of officials and other clubs.
So why are you having him in the booth, Nate?
Greg Olson has just got to be like,
Are you kidding me?
are you serious right now?
Right.
I did a Super Bowl for you guys. I was the darling of the NFL world. You blew me out so you could have the biggest name in the game, and the dude can't even properly prepare for a broadcast? Can't criticize officials on TV?
He needs to then.
I don't want to watch him.
Do you know what this means? He's got to go to the desk. He does them no good in a booth.
No.
He can't go to a production meet. Now, he can still analyze what he's seeing. For those out there wondering why would they do this, it's all about tampering, right?
Right.
You don't want him getting extra time with a player as a potential
And
owner
owners
of the
can't rip
Raiders.
refs.
And you don't. Now you're not going to. You don't want him around the facilities. You don't want to see the other. It just is like, again, it goes back to the paranoia that you talk about all these sports leagues have. But how did they not? Did Fox, was you not aware this is going to be inflicted on him?
Did
so
they
to
hope
speak?
he was going to give up on the Raider thing?
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. You don't need him on games then.
No.
You need to just put him in the studio.
Exactly. No, you're exactly right about that. Yeah. What's the point? He can't do the job.
Yeah, I don't need to hear about your training methods and how much the game has gone dumb every week.
Right.
I need you to talk about the team in front of you. Now, look, does he still know football? Sure
Of course he does, but I want my analyst to sit in front of the coach and ask him questions.
Yeah.
That's the kind of insight that you then have to have a quality broadcast.
They just got to call this off, don't they?
What a mess. What a mess. God, we thought Deshaun Watson's contract was bad. Fox's deal with Brady is just a disaster. All right, it's Kreckman and Lindahl. Buffs in North Dakota State. We have got to dive further into this matchup. Expectations for Shedeur Sanders here in game number 1 coming up here this evening. Plus, Andy, I got an NBA rumor to sprinkle on you before the hour's up.
Oh, really?
I want to sprinkle it, okay? Like a little bit of garlic salt on the pie over here.
What does
at
your
Joe
guy
Willie's.
do with that little like pinch, and then he does the thing?
Just a pinch.
Do you know what I'm talking about? That chef with the slick back hair, and he just kind of does the little of the salt deal.
They all have slick back.
You don't
hair.
know who that guy is?
No, they all have slick
I
back
swear
hair.
you've seen him. I'll find a gif where he just gets all fancy after he chops the steak and he just does a little salt on there.
With the elbow?
Yes, he does the little elbow up and the hand down as if he's,
I haven't seen this technique.
Oh, my gosh, you've not seen that guy?
Nonetheless,
Now I'm going to see if I can find him.
I will
You'll power through?
sprinkle an NBA rumor on you, and I'll use references that I know. It's Kreckman and Lindahl. We're out here at Joe Willie's on Broadway today. Get in here now. Find a seat. Buffs, North Dakota State. We'll get it rolling in roughly 37 minutes, 6 o'clock. Kickoff's always a little after 6 o'clock. What is the technical kickoff time? Andy, you know these
It'll
things.
be 6:15. By the way, Salt Bay, we are getting inundated with Salt Bay. He's more popular than anybody. Salt Bay is the guy I told you about. 6:15 should be the kickoff. Well, maybe it's,
Ish.
I want to say 6:15 because it's ESPN, right? Nothing starts, like you said, right on time.
Buffs in black, by the way. Black helmets, black jerseys.
There we go. All right.
It's a good-looking uniform.
Yeah, but shouldn't everybody have to just start in the traditional look and then we can go Oregon where we switch it every week?
Prime doesn't have time for your tradition. All right? He's blowing up tradition, okay? The man's a disruptor. That's what his goal has been with this program. That's what he's done the entire way. That's why he's got no problem going on social media and clowning dudes that used to play for his program. He's got no issues with any of that. Deion is here to be liked by the people that like him and to be fueled by the grievances of those that don't. And that has been the Deion Sanders way in Boulder. And quite frankly, it's been the Deion Sanders way everywhere that he's gone. And now this is the old rubber meets the road. You gonna win? Are you gonna go to a bowl game this year? Are you gonna go, from 1 win to 4 wins now to 6, 7, 8? Are you going to do something special? That's what basically this all comes down to is you think of the entire offseason, Andy, and the turbulence of everything that has gone down, negative reports about Shiloh and bankruptcy and lawsuits, issues with the local media, fights that he has picked. It all goes away now.
Yeah, it's all about football.
Now you got to win. Now is the point where, okay, is it all worth it, and is there a tangible result, and is the thing that you do that is so out front and in everybody's face because there's 4 cameras following you everywhere, does it actually lead to meaningful winning football? Locking up the best class in the transfer portal and bringing these dudes in, it's all going to matter if, a guy like B.J. Green goes from all Pac-12, comes to CU from Arizona State, and has a dominant season. A guy like Jordan Seaton that you get out of IMG Academy shows up to Boulder and looks like he's got all-American potential. If they do those things, then all the ammunition that the haters have doesn't do anything. It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
it's got to win.
Paul Feinbaum has to apologize to you eventually here about calling you, a bunch of no-names and all that. That's what's great about all this, right? This week we get CU and CSU playing and Air Force, and next week we get the Broncos going, and then we can all just quit speculating and start seeing what everything actually is. I have heard that Seaton is
big.
Everything is promised.
Big and can move.
I can tell you, one of the guys that I trust very much, his eyes, he's saying that guy was worth the hype. That guy's hype is going to be real. So we start finding it's going to be interesting to see. What do you think CU is? Let me ask you this. How do you think they're a topic around the nation? There'll be a topic in every city they play in the week of, as any team would be, but is the team a topic or is it just Prime?
They can be a topic for the right reasons. Are they a topic because they're an actual player in college football, because they belong in the conversation in the top 25, where we start talking about, can the Buffs go to the college football playoff, the now expanded college football playoff? That's when you get into the conversation for the right reasons. Right now, paper on those dudes is legit, but, is for all the bluster and for the conversation of I'm bringing my luggage and it's Louis, and, the negative reports about the way that guys that transferred out were treated in their time at Colorado and the way that they were treated in their exit from Colorado, none of that is a talking point if you brought in dudes that are legit and that are winning. D-line guys from Pitt, B.J. Green. We talk about wide receiver from Vanderbilt, wide receiver from FAU, just replacing dudes that you had with other dudes that are out there. Dallin Hayden from Ohio State. Again, like, it's all worthwhile if you win games. I do think that Colorado has profited greatly from the attention that has been lavished upon them by having Deion Sanders around. It makes their brand more recognizable. Quite frankly, it was a once recognizable and proud brand, Andy, and it eventually fell by the wayside because the program was atrocious for the better part of 2 decades.
So let me ask you this. We've talked about when will there be pressure on Sean Payton. You just said it right there. Colorado's in the conversation. Shedeur Sanders with his big Rolex watch or whatever the watch company is in the middle of Times Square. Colorado right now, just like they was beginning of the last year, they're a player. Now, as you said, you got to start winning to stay a player, and you're going to have to win more than you did a year ago. When is there actual pressure, though? Like, people keep saying 6 wins in a bowl game, 6 wins in a bowl game. Is that real pressure for Deion this year? Doesn't matter. Or,
well, go back to our conversation from the other day with our buddy Dimitri Ravanos, okay? If it doesn't work out in Boulder,
he can go to TV. He can go anywhere.
I bet you Deion could make 4 times the salary in a network television job right now versus what he makes at CU. What he signed, a 5-year, $29 million deal? Yeah. Now, there's side hustles in there. There's the Amazon show and the Shades and God knows everything else.
All the YouTube profits.
Right, that get connected through all of that. So, like, he has figured out a way to be able to monetize, like, every single angle of what is going on with Colorado football and make that grow. But also, those opportunities all still exist if he's a TV pitchman. In fact, it might even be bigger.
Yes. Because people find him interesting.
Yeah. Did going to television hurt Saban's brand at all?
No. And Saban, for different reasons, even if you're loved to be hated, right? How many people hated Saban? Because, in part, I mean, hate's probably a strong word for me, but, man, I'm sick of you. I'm sick of you. I'm sick of the program. I'm sick of Alabama already being good. The Chiefs are going to hit that at some point.
Sure.
But, look, Travis Kelce, how many people are sick of the Chiefs and Travis Kelce? Most of the NFL. How much has Travis Kelce just pocketed? $100 million for a podcast?
It's good to be Taylor Swift's boyfriend, huh?
Oh, man, if those two ever get married, net worth of that family? Are you kidding me?
Not bad. Not bad. You also forget CU's on a 6-game losing streak coming into this game tonight.
Well, that's just it. See, that's why I keep bringing up this point about the fact that Deion's now talking to the ESPN crew while walking around. But Look, it's been about Deion and his beef with the media, and can you take it? Can you be tough enough? There's been no talk about the fact that the guy has coached a team that was on a 6-game skid and couldn't seem to make any adjustments to make it stop down the stretch. Now, I think they played Utah tougher, especially with a backup quarterback at the end of last year than a lot of us, including myself, thought they were going to. But this is still a team. We keep talking about a must-win. This is a must-win because you got to get back to winning.
The thing that was wild about watching them last year was with Shedeur, it was either like highlight or low light. We talk all the time about Bo Nix and Sean Payton, and can you just get to a point where you can consistently get the ball out quickly and move the ball down the field? Like, Buffs need more of that. They've got to be able to find more of that in their arsenal and not Shedeur running for his life. Again, the conversation about Jordan Seaton and the point that you brought up right there, let's hope we see some tangible results on that pretty quickly.
Yeah, but Nate, I mean, you talked about it. Why would they need a tight end? Well,
protection.
You got to have extra protection. We've talked about the incredible talent at wide receiver. Both Mark Johnson and Gary Barnett brought it up. You know what you need if that's going to be taken advantage of? Time for the quarterback to make a throw. Not getting killed 2 seconds after getting the ball. Not running for his life, taking him off the spot so that he can make the proper throw. They were so bad at being able to keep a play in rhythm.
Yep.
At the end of last year. That cannot continue. I don't expect it to continue, But you never know. And there's going to have to be some kind of run game this year. We keep talking about it, and I understand why would you take the ball out of Shedor's hands.
Last in the FBS
he's pretty
last
much
year.
your player, but, man, you got to have some kind of run game.
Yeah, well, and it's one of those things that can take a little bit of pressure off of him. By the way, Hank Zelinskis, Cherry Creek's own, won the starting center job
Good
this year
for
again.
Hank.
That's good to see.
I like a name. I like a guy named Hank.
I like a Zelinskis.
I prefer Hank. Hey, Hank.
But he's the big center, played for Dave Logan over there at Cherry Creek. Defensively, I want to see that defensive line. I want to see those guys get after it tonight. I'm interested to see that group. We know the kind of talent they have at safety with Silman Craig and with Shiloh Sanders in there. Let's go. Let's go get them, fellas. I'm eager to watch the Buffs get this thing underway, watch Travis Hunter play some football again.
You know what I think would be cool? And I know CSU fans may not agree. I think it would be cool if both the Buffs and Rams show up undefeated in Fort Collins. Does that?
What number do you think you could get in Vegas on that?
Oh.
On getting
yeah.
Buffs
Come on,
beating
dude.
North Dakota State
Yes.
and Nebraska on the road, and then CSU
Oh, if they could upset Texas. All right.
winning on the road.
Yeah.
I mean, they'll get UNC at home in week 2, so that sets up a little bit better.
I forgot about the Texas game. How much fun would that be, though? What kind of, again, would that change the time? I know they got the 5:30 game time. Would they move it to 1:30?
Right.
Put it on big ABC?
Damn right they
That was
would.
a hell of a game last year. Everybody was watching it. People were talking about, we had NFL commentators saying, I'm so tired today because I had to stay up late and watch CSU.
If CSU beats Texas, capital I, capital F, they're in the top 25.
They should be.
Yeah. 4th-ranked team in the country. You go to their building and beat those guys, you're in the top 25.
CSU goes in there, ushers in the old Arch Manning era.
BFN throws for 560.
That'd be
Torrey
awesome.
Horton scores 4 touchdowns.
Oh, I know. That'd be great.
Feels like a bit of a long shot.
It is a huge long shot.
Don't feel
But you know
terribly
what?
likely.
That's what the day is for. That's what this is for. Let's dream a little bit.
Let's dream a
have
little
little
bit.
fun.
Yesterday we had the Broncos winning 10, and today we got CU and CSU both undefeated going into week 3. We can dream.
Boom.
We're allowed to.
Then big ABC needs to pick it up and get an AI at Keith Jackson to call the game.
North Dakota State, Andy. And in all of this, we're talking about, and this would be the drinking game for tonight. Anytime they mention the 9 FCS championships or anything else like that, that's this program. They're built to do this. Okay, they have won 6 of their last 7 on the road against FBS opponents. That included beating an Iowa team that was ranked in the top 15 back in 2016. Their last one was at Arizona. I think that was 2 years ago. They lost by a field goal in a game where they had a lead deep into the 4th quarter. This program they're built for these kind of matchups.
They are, and
like what Mark Johnson talked about earlier in the show, their front seven's going to line up and basically play just a high school 4-3 against you, and they got a bunch of FCS All-Americans down there. Their quarterback has started 38 games in his career and knows that system inside and out. They are going to line up, run the ball, eat clock, work between the tackles, and they're every time that they beat an FBS opponent, they were giving up size and speed in every single one of those games, and they still lined up and did exactly what they wanted to do. That's just the way that this program is built. And you talk about the dangers of a week 1. It's a lot of new faces for the Buffs. And athletically, North Dakota State can't hang with these guys. But North Dakota State knows exactly what they are. This is a really, really tough game tonight. I do think the Buffs win, but I think this is a 4th quarter game tonight.
oh, I've been saying it. I don't think this is the ideal opening opponent. If Coach Prime would have had the say over this,
Right.
Instead of what did Mark Johnson tell us 8 years ago?
8 years
they
ago.
put this together.
8
was
years
that a
ago.
Mike Bone?
It was agreed upon that $700,000 would be going. Might have been a Rick George.
That might have been a Rick George.
Might have
You're
been a
right.
Rick George.
8 years ago, 16. That's Rick George.
But they committed to give $700,000 to North Dakota State for this game.
Well, bottom line is these are not the kind of It's not the kind of opener that I think a lot of coaches want, especially when you've got that kind of culture built that you're talking about. But, again, if CU's front four along the defensive line is what I've been told, then you know what? You handle their run game. You take away their best weapon. You force them into the game that they don't want. Maybe you get one of those blowouts. But I'm just not – I just am not expecting a blowout. I hope I'm eating those words tomorrow. I just think here's what's tough. And a lot of teams are going to be doing this. But when you build your team through the transfer portal every year, you just don't have the same chemistry that a team like a North Dakota State would. You named off 4 or 5 guys that chose to stay there and not take money at the next level.
Yep.
You just don't have that kind of chemistry.
North Dakota State's without their All-American safety.
And their depth is not the same as it's been in the past, I was told.
They're without their All-American fullback.
Wow.
Yeah.
Someone alert Sean Payton.
I know, right?
Was he going up there to watch some All-American fullback?
You know
tonight,
he wanted.
Huh?
You know he wanted to.
I didn't know we still named fullbacks All-Americans.
You can have an All-American fullback.
Has he got a little All-Stott in him? Was he a runner too?
Oh, he's a beast. The dude's a beast. He was their fullback / long snapper.
Well,
don't you love FCS football?
Yeah. Now
so
you want him drafted.
Yeah. That's.
If we were doing a fantasy team today, would you draft him? If we were picking from the teams, would you be taking him?
Taking NDSU's fullback?
Would you pull a spring and take the fullback that's not playing first game of the season?
It's the spring special. Right here at Joe Willie's on Broadway. Stop by and see us. You can still get a couple of minutes.
Yeah. Look,
you're not driving around.
We've got a great crowd here.
Come visit with us.
Good crowd. Great crowd out
here.
You want to be in a place that's got a crowd with friendly people. Here it is.
We just had a couple of dudes walk in. They were wearing matching CU Hawaiian shirts.
That's dedication.
Matching. It was a good look. It's all going on right here.
We're also hearing the traffic to Boulder sucks.
Yeah, that's the other word.
Come here. Go ahead and come here. You don't want to go up there?
Yeah, you're
got work tomorrow.
You're in Superior right now, sitting in traffic if you're on your way to Boulder.
Yeah, you're going to be catching the game another way.
Thanks for listening to us here on 92.5. Can I just can I tickle your rumor bone?
You're going to Salt Bay me?
Now that I know his name.
we both learned something.
I'm still not going to season that way. But no, I've got a little bit of an NBA rumor.
Okay.
And it involves one Nikola Jokic. And I'd like to just sprinkle it and let it marinate, and we'll think about it a little bit. We'll just flavor it up a little bit. A Nikola Jokic-related rumor when we come back on Altitude Sports Radio 92.5. Final segment on a Thursday afternoon out here at Joe Willie's, Broadway and Louisiana, just south of I-25 and Broadway. And
the old Pasquini's
place is glorious, as we have told you all day long. They do an Italian beef, Italian sausage combo with the giardiniera on there, and it's basically perfect. I say this, Andy, as a full-on fat Midwesterner at heart, and I've got the cholesterol to prove it. They do it right.
Yeah.
As an expat from the flatlands to the east of us, I can tell you a lot of people try it. Almost nobody does it right. Joe Willie's does it right.
See, I wondered. You can't call yourself Chicago if you're not going to do the giardiniera right. All right, real quickly, before you tell me some Nikola Jokic news, are you all right? Are you ready?
It's a rumor.
Hey, no, hold on.
Sprinkling a rumor.
I got not a rumor.
Now I'm doing this.
I got some breaking news that's not a rumor.
Okay, what do you got?
And I'm very sorry for you. Mike Klis tweets a minute ago, the Broncos have cut rookie Bailey and added a special teams linebacker, Welch, from the Ravens.
Christian Welch. They added him. Lavelle Bailey was axed.
That's your guy.
That's my dude. Practice squad, right? They'll put him back in
now,
the
was
practice
Lavelle,
squad.
he was the 96-yard return, wasn't he?
Lavelle Bailey, linebacker out of Fresno State. Playmaker. I know they loved him.
Come on, baby. Come on.
Lavelle Bailey he'll get back to the active roster this year. I think they really
I like
liked him.
that story, dude. I like that story. I'm kind of bummed out, even though it's your guy.
No, we talked about it. I mean, 53-man roster is not a 53-man roster until you got a game to play.
Well, we had said there's probably going to be a couple more. Machinations before next Friday. All right, give me some Jokic news, Salpe.
Well, we got Jokic rumors, we got Broncos news, and you can listen to all of those via the Altitude Sports Radio app, Mark Springer, powered by the Will Height Law Firm, injury lawyers. Go to willheightwins.com. That is willheightwins.com. Okay, like I said.
Are you suggesting Spring listens over the app?
I do. He should.
I know.
Check
I
it
needed
out
that.
sometime,
Thank
Spring.
you.
Yes. We're all on the same page.
We're here to check the boxes, okay?
Right. Check.
That's what we're here for. It's like a Lou from Littleton appearance. It's all live reads, name drops, and mortgage alerts.
Let me tell you.
Shout out to Lou from Littleton who stopped by today. God bless that
Now
man.
everybody wants a regular appearance.
I
We
know,
could
right?
do gambling stuff with him, although I don't know about his mortgage alert today, but we could.
We've had numerous interviews recently where we've gotten, you guys should have this guy on every week.
Yeah, a lot
People
of us
loved
see it.
Mike
You
Palm
know what?
at Circa.
I got news for you. You and I got a cameo request for $5, but they want us to praise Mike Palm because they're CSU fans.
Good.
Are you down?
Mike Palm, I did enjoy him.
For your $250, are you down?
I'll take. I take $350 out of that junk, okay?
Okay, because you booked Mike Palm.
This is not a 50-50 deal when I appear on the cameos, okay? There's a lot of I in Kreckman, let me tell you. Okay. We got a Nikola Jokic rumor.
Yeah, let's go.
Not news, but it's just a rumor. So we were talking about Joker was over in Slovenia playing in the Night of the Dragon for Goran Dragic.
Yes.
Joker threw an alley-oop off the backboard to himself, hit a Sombor Shuffle 3. It was all glorious.
He was in his feels.
He really was. And you may have noticed him clowning around and dumping a water bottle all over Luka Doncic as they were going to timeout on TV. So we know these guys are pals, okay?
Buddies.
Buds. Hoop Collective and Windhorse Podcast, Tim McMahon was on there. And Tim McMahon knows what's up with the Dallas Mavericks. He's covered Luka Doncic closely.
He's the old Ben Hockman of the Dallas Mavericks.
And they were talking about the possibility of a Jokic-Doncic team-up someday. We know in the modern NBA, the Buds always like to get together and play, okay?
The Boos
That's
get
right.
together by the bay or whatever.
That's
Nick
how
would
these
do.
things go. Could Jokic and Doncic throw their
collective weight,
collective Eastern European weight around and end up playing together? Tim McMahon on the Hoop Collective podcast, what does he think?
Seeing the playful nature of Jokic and Doncic together, author of The Wonder Boy, what does that make you think?
I mean, it's they're buddies. Like, it's every All-Star game. They're, playing little pranks on each other. And, look, obviously, somebody asked Dirk, and it got a little aggregation about, Luka and Giannis, or I'm sorry, Luka and Joker. And, Dirk's like, hey, if they play together, I hope it happens in Dallas or something like that. I mean, the thing about that is neither one of, we can talk about it going either way. I don't see either one happening. And neither, the Nuggets don't have the assets to pull off a blockbuster trade, certainly one that would have to be historic to get a Luka. And the same thing goes the other way for Dallas. So, I mean, it's always going to be a thing, maybe late in their career or late in Joker's career. Something
you
ends
say
up
late.
happening.
I mean, they're both in their 20s.
I know.
I agree. It's not happening in the next 12 months.
I mean, I think I think at this point it's silly, just imagination land discussion.
Yet I like living in silly imagination land.
Joker has said he ain't leaving here.
He's not going anywhere.
Has
And
Doncic said that to my knowledge about Dallas? I don't think he has he?
Dirk had said this. It was on a Euro Hoops podcast of, if they team up, I hope it's in Dallas. Joker ain't going to Dallas, okay? Nicola's staying on parade here in Denver. He's a champion here. He's a legend here. Quite frankly, he is more entrenched in the city of Denver than Luka Doncic is in Dallas. Luka's got 2 more years on his deal with the Mavs, and then he's got a player option in 26-27 on his current contract. Like Windhorst was right to say it. It's not happening in the next 12 months. But, Andy, we've talked about this before. I believe that Nikola Jokic will have more than one championship-level supporting cast in his time here in Denver. It is going to turn over again. I think that this current iteration of Jamal Murray and Aaron Gordon and Michael Porter Jr. As his key supporting cast, I think they got another 1-2 cracks at it. And after that, the Nuggets are going to have to look to reinforcing this thing if it's not working out. They may do it even if they win another title. 2-3 years from now, that's when you start looking at it and saying, okay, if in this brutal Western Conference, Luka Doncic has not been able to pull the Dallas Mavericks over the hump and win an NBA championship, and hey, they had a good run at it this year, and then they got housed when they got to the finals, okay? Could Luka Doncic say, going to Denver and playing with my buddy Nikola, that's my chance to put a ring on this finger? 2-3 years from now?
Would it even be that far? Let me throw out a scenario to you.
More than a non-zero chance.
You don't re-sign Jamal Murray just to see how it goes. Could that be where you let Murray hit free agency, you trade MPJ, there goes what you need to try to get Luka? How much is left on Luka's contract, though?
Again, he's got 2 years and then a player option 26-27. I bet he's a Maver in at least another 3 years.
Think so?
Yeah.
Don't think he'd opt out?
But you could pay Jamal now and move him later.
Sure. Now,
He's going to have to be healthy and actually give you some trade value, but you could pay him and move him later.
Well, or you could,
Again, there's a lot between now and when that could all potentially happen.
But if Jamal stays around, is there a world where you could have Jamal, Joker, and Luka be the 3 core? And maybe it's a Gordon and MPJ you move on or whatever?
I'm down to dream.
Why not?
Hey, we're dreaming.
Money.
We're dreaming about the Broncos winning 10. We're dreaming about an undefeated Rocky Mountain Showdown in Week 3. Let's just keep dreaming.
Why not? That's what Thursdays are for.
If they have Jokic and Doncic, they don't need Jamal Murray. They can win a title with me out there. All right, that might be a little extreme.
You a corner 3 guy? What are we doing here?
Just hide me in the corner. Hide me in the corner, and even though I'm hidden over there, I do not space the floor at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am ignored.
You run in to get the rebound after it's been retrieved. It's right there.
I tried.
My bad.
Give me
jump by the guy.
Give me those hustle points, coach.
I was trying.
We're back tomorrow at 3 o'clock. We'll be talking about the Buffs and the Bison. Obviously, Bronco conversation, and whatever else we cook up on a Ska Friday. Thanks to everybody out here at Joe Willie's for having us. It was a gigantic pile of fun for Cole and for Dixon and everybody out here. Carlos was here with us. Spring back in the shop. Blitz is coming up next.
Coors is here, by the way. Come see the Coors folks. They're doing their
Good.
thing.
Good. Come see the Coors folks. That'll do it for us. Good night, everybody.